male loneliness will get worse. So there've been a lot of new content creators talking about the issue of male loneliness and how how serious it is, and trying to give what express their condolences and say, "Oh my God, this is such a terrible issue" and stuff like that. And yeah, it is. Reality is, uh, part of what it's showing is just that people are becoming more lonely. Technology, social media is kind of starting to get to the point where it's palpable. People's mental health is starting to fail. We're kind of like becoming less communal, and we're becoming more and more isolated. Uh, Now, specifically for men, what I've noticed is that uh, you got female content creators kind of like playing to that pain that men have, right? And getting millions and millions of views off of guys who genuinely want to feel heard, right? Here's the sad part: a lot of those guys, I don't think they'll realize, a lot of people don't realize, um, no one really cares about male loneliness. They don't really care about male issues and stuff like that. They're not going to care. They're not going to start to care. The women don't care. They're just trying to make money off of it. I've seen what erudite, not so erudite, uh, make a video on male loneliness, and they have like male loneliness panels and stuff like that. Then of course you got like Matt Walsh making posts on male loneliness and stuff like that. But this has been an issue for decades. And it's never been not an issue. It's just now it's getting big because you got content creators getting news coverage for these from these issues. That's kind of where I agree with Stardust. Stardust did a video on female content creators, female red pillars, and how they're kind of like coming into the space and trying to like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to make a buck on it. Here's the thing: I think it's good that they're bringing the issue to the forefront. I think it's good that more and more people are starting to become aware of something that we're just kind of blatantly, like blissfully aware of the fact that most males are kind of like in this position where they don't really have an access to intimacy, or like either with a woman or just with people in general. They don't really have a lot of friends. They feel lonely. They feel isolated. Um, my opinion on it is starting to change a little bit. I think a lot of the incel types, stuff like that. I think some of them. Here's my opinion. I think some of them actually want to stay in that position. I think misery loves company, and sometimes people want to stay in their victimhood because it's easier. It means they don't have to change. But then you have people who are genuinely, they don't know what to do. Right? They're lost. They're confused. I think it's probably going to benefit. It's going to benefit guys more if they just have someone to challenge them, um, to break their foot off of them. Right? To actually tell them the truth. Um, it's not even easier. It's not even easy for the guys who aren't involuntarily celibate. Um, but the thing is, you don't really gotta. So it, we can obviously agree that it's an issue, and we can agree that it's not easy. Um, you don't really have a lot of methods to go about it. You can either do something about it or not. Um, Unfortunately, here's the thing: definitely don't cry for help from a female content creator. Don't get in the comments and be like, "Oh, my life, I'm so lonely." I'm not trying to like insult you or like anything like that. I'm just saying like they don't care. Like you're not. I've tried it, right? Like I've. So this is coming from like me. I've had situations where I'll talk to women and I'll tell them like my problems and stuff. It never goes well. They Most of the time it always leads to them losing interest or attraction, or they just stop talking to me. Like you can't, like it doesn't do anything. um, I think there's the issues that are happening now, like male loneliness and social isolation. Like these have always been issues. I think this is a sign. It's just an omen to show that uh, our country, uh, things are just starting to fall. It's not really going to be. Male loneliness is going to get worse. It's going to get to the point where we might end up having more violent crimes and stuff like that. God forbid, but I have a feeling that it's going to get to the point where you will actually have we will actually need to step in and figure out how to deal with this a little more obviously, right? Now the women won't really notice the issues because on the first part of the issue, the normative side, they just get all the like, we don't really see the issues it's causing. It's like, well, that's not a me problem, but when it does become a me problem further down the road, when it becomes not safe at night later on, uh, at night, 5 to 10 years down the road, then it'll become obvious. But then it'll be too late. But I think we're almost kind of at the tipping point. Um, so I think the incel thing is a little complicated, but also my opinion is that most guys are kind of involuntarily celibate. But here's the other thing: I was watching Sterling Cooper's video recently, and he said most guys are voluntarily celibate, and if they're not able to get something, it's because they're not working to get it. I think at the end of the day, only thing you can do is take responsibility. That's all you can do, and you can't the stuff you can't control. Fine, like don't focus on that. Right, it doesn't matter. You can't do anything about it anyway. Just focus on the stuff you can control. So switching that mindset to where you're like, I'm not an involuntarily celibate. I'm a guy who just hasn't gotten it yet, and I'm working to get it, whatever it is. Whether you want the bag, whether you want the chick, whether you want it for a night, or you want a girlfriend. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with it. I know people are saying American women are terrible and stuff like that, but you go to a different country and you start dealing with female emotion, you probably end up with the same thing. To be honest, so yeah, male loneliness will get worse. The loneliness of people in general will get worse as we become more and more dependent on social media. Now we got our faces in a screen a lot on a computer. Online dating is becoming more prominent. I think it's like 50% of people are meeting online nowadays. You're getting less and less people meeting in person. When I go out and do cold approaches and talk to women, a lot of times I'll get like I don't really get a whole lot of good results, and a lot of people feel kind of awkward when you talk to them. Sometimes you get good energy and vibes and stuff like that, but then you're like forced to go to texting, and then it just becomes weird. Uh, Maybe you double, triple text, or you just mess up or something. It's really easy and volatile. It's very volatile. Um, Look, guys are struggling out there, and I understand that women have their problems and things are going on, but there's a lot of guys out there that are very despondent. They don't know what to do. They're lost. Um, I was at a bar recently, and I had a guy, this cool guy. He's really awesome. He gave me some tips about chicks. Right, he was giving me some game, and honestly, it was the dopest thing ever. I had to. This was a cool dude, man. Um, I said that like he's gone. No, I see him every other Friday or something like that. But it's rough out there. But I've kind of learned that it's not. You gotta like if you really want something. Here's the thing. Like I always say this on this channel. The next day, tomorrow you could get hit by a bus. The next day you could fall off. You could get in a car accident. You could fall off I don't know, a house or something. Like there's always something that could happen, and then you're gone. Um, the amount of time we have on Earth now, I understand that everyone's like, oh, gynocentrism, women rule the world, blah blah blah. Like I get it. Like right now, they're in this pride thing. They think they're amazing and all that shit. Like yeah, but as a guy, you gotta have pride too. You gotta wear your nuts. Like, you gotta hang your nuts. You gotta realize that you know they're not the only ones on the planet. They're not as important as they act like they are, right? Like problem is we kind of make them a little too important. So it's kind of our fault to a degree. Uh, yeah, but male loneliness will get worse. I think it's extremely important right now to just focus on being kind and genuine to people. Even though in my mindset, the world just the way it is now, it's kind of creating people that don't want to be kind. Like it's people who are kind, they just kind of just want to be rude and just want to be left alone nowadays. Because like even me, for example, I've kind of recognized that people aren't people are terrible. Like it's most of the people I run into, I don't even like have patience for them anymore. Like I try to stay positive and stuff like that, especially on my channel, but I don't really like people anymore. I've lost a lot of patience, especially like the average woman that is within dating age. Like I see them automatically as like, oh shit, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's probably not gonna be anything good. Like I don't really take them serious or anything, and I don't even like treat them like a human. I don't treat them like an equal. Like for sure, call me what you want. At the end of the day, people aren't gonna if people aren't gonna like you anyway, you may as well just act how you want to act, right? I don't treat women like equals. I understand this paradigm tells me that I need to treat them like equals, but here's the thing: they'll take a dump inside of you, inside of your head, inside of your emotions. They'll treat you like crap, and they'll dip. They won't even give a shit. That's just the reality of it, right? They won't feel a single thing. You know why? Because they got too many options. But that's just the thing nowadays. Like a lot of times we got like social media, we got that shit, so we can just talk to as many people as we want. But then we don't have to treat the individual person like they matter, like a decent human being. It kind of messes you up after a while. I'm not saying go to the dark side, but after a while, you got to start developing boundaries. You got to start realizing that you're more important than people are treating you. I had a video recently where I said they're not better than you. They're not more important than you. It's true. Like I don't care if you're on my channel. It's about it's about men, right? But if you're a woman, same thing. If you want to develop boundaries for yourself, if you want to realize that you're actually more important than people are making you out to be, okay, like do that. Like thing is, the world doesn't want you to know that you're important, that you matter. You work a what $10 an hour, $15 an hour job, and you're told that you're just supposed to love it and shut up. But based off of inflation, based off of the country and the housing and also the housing market, and just the average price of an apartment and the average price of goods, you can't afford half of the shit you need. So it's like, okay, like, yeah, so I'm just supposed to take the job, work the job, and then shut up. But then I can't afford anything, right? You tell me if it makes sense. Now, on my channel, I know I focus on guy issues and stuff like that, but because we don't really get a lot of, no one really throws us a bone and stuff like that. So we kind of get ignored a lot and we get neglected. But of course, you have people bringing up like male loneliness and stuff like that, like Shoe on Head and stuff like that. Um, Reality is, no one cares about men's emotional mental health. They're never gonna care about it. And for any man who feels like he should open up to his wife or girlfriend or any woman or stuff like that, even some guys, right? Like I've talked to guys and I've had situations where they kind of like laugh or not like take it serious or something like that. Just don't do it. Like, look, talk to your creator, talk to God, talk to like meditate, go outside, go for a run, go to the gym. Don't rely on like a lot of men. There's not some men, right? Like I know I say women don't do it to women, but like even some men, like they don't really get it, right? Maybe they haven't hit that low yet. Maybe they're still in their ego. Um, that's all I got. It's not really wasn't meant to be super long, but um, my thing is this: like, if your life is to the point where you don't want to, like, you're not really getting what you want, you're not winning. Here's the thing: like, you're already at the bottom. Like, I feel like I've already been at the bottom, so I kind of like there's only place to go from here is up, higher, right? So like you gotta learn also to start being quicker to cut people out of your life, and you gotta do it before they. So honestly, you gotta stop trying to be nice and lenient. Because here's the other thing: you can be try to be nice and lenient to women. Guess what? They'll still put that knife in your back. They'll still screw you up. So you call yourself being nice and lenient, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be the better person." Okay, all right, you be the better person. She got way more options than you. You be in your feelings thinking about it 3 or 4 weeks later on. She already be 2 or 3 guys in, not worrying about you, just getting it. She's not even thinking about you, for real. She's not thinking about you. Literally, just this is the third guy in, right? So after the third week, you're still in your feelings off of this chick who literally completely forgot about you and just you gotta laugh about this shit sometimes. It's like you had a, so it's like if you have a guy, right? And he's like, oh, I hope she's calling me, and then the next frame you just hear, oh my god, oh my god, so why did she do that? That wasn't very nice. The next frame, oh my god, you're amazing. Oh shit. Yeah. Thing about the world is it's kind of like a comedy. It's a comedy and it's a tragedy at the same time. There's this quote. Forget that guy, but he had this quote. He said, "Life is a tragedy. To people who feel deeply, life is a tragedy. To people who think life is a comedy." And he said that's why I don't know. It's like this philosopher. He said this philosopher. He's like that's why this philosopher uh, laughed, and that's why this philosopher wept. It was pretty much the best quote I ever heard in my life. I shared it recently. I like to share quotes. I share commentary. I like to look up the older generation men who used to like men that came before the men of this era who were actually also red pill, who understood the nature of women, understood the nature of economics and the way the world works, understood the nature of power as well. Women they like men who are powerful, who do things effortlessly. If you look like you're putting in effort, they don't perceive that as power. They only perceive it as power if they think it's easy. But yeah, obviously I'm doing my part. I'm trying to share tips. I'm talking to guys and stuff like that. Don't think I'm not having my own issues. I'm trying to get girls. I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to just work my 9 to 5 and stuff like that. I'm doing my stuff too. I make controversial videos, but I stay low key. I'm never gonna get big. I don't have to turn into like a just pearly things. I'm gonna keep my opinion out of all that stuff, that channel and all that stuff too. But yeah. So if you're a guy watching my channel and maybe you're not getting any, or you don't think you think the world doesn't care about you, you think what's the point of doing this? No one even cares. Why should I try? Um, there's a couple of things I can say to you, right? First off, okay, you're right. Things are rough. It's rough out there. You get ignored, you get rejected, you feel invisible. Um, what are you going to do about it? And I get it, right? I'll sit and I'll listen and hear the issues and I'll agree with what you're saying and everything like that. But this is just something I'm starting to realize. And I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm not trying to belittle your issues because I'm dealing with the same stuff. This is coming from a person that's dealing with the same stuff. I'm dealing with male loneliness. It's a real thing. Loneliness, feeling invisible, feeling like no one sees me, stuff like that. I get told all the time that, oh, you're so attractive and stuff like that. Like, don't you have a girlfriend or something like that? Like, no, no, I don't. But like, thing is, like, what are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do daily? Like, are we gonna meditate? Are we gonna do push-ups? We're gonna go to the gym. Are we gonna get a job, get a second job if we have to? Are we gonna start going to to bars, chatting up women, go to social events, anything, right? So that's all I got. Like male loneliness, even though it's going to get worse, I think there's ways that we can stave it off. We can work on it. It doesn't have to be all like doom and gloom. We can work on the stuff. We can get better. But here's the thing: it's going to happen from men, right? Like going to the women for sympathy and stuff like that, and having like shoe on head, make videos to bring up issues that old fucking 10, 20 years ago, MGTOW, red pill creators, philosophers already talked about this stuff, right? It's not going to get any better just because some little ditzy chick, some chick makes a video about it and gets 2 million views. Okay, good, big whoop, good for her. But all the dudes that are, you know, so lonely they're crying their eyes out and cry themselves to sleep, crying, jerking it. Like they don't care about that. That repulses them. They only like guys when they're at the top. All these guys right here scrapping to get to the top, and they're ignored, right? That's just the average Western woman. That's just how it works. You can't really show them your feelings. You can't show them when you're frustrated with them because they'll do messed up stuff. And only thing you can do is just move on from that. You can call it out sometimes if you want, but in my opinion, that's not even worth it. I called myself today getting in my feelings, almost texting a chick saying, "Oh, I can't believe you did that." But you know what she would have done? She probably wouldn't have even known who I was, right? Like I said, she's probably 3, 4, 5 dudes in. So it would have been like, "Oh, who is this guy?" I don't know. Right?